One section of my presentation is all about digital discipline, and for me, this is the most exciting part because this is the part where we get to really hone our skills in the digital space. There's a lot happening, things are moving rapidly, so within this section, I want to give people a chance to really understand the skills that are necessary, not just to survive our fast future, but also to thrive. So let's dive into some of the skills that are necessary this year based on this 2022 skills outlook from last year. What I think is really fascinating is when we look at the growing skills, which are those skills that are in blue. We see skills such as analytical thinking and innovation, creativity, critical thinking and analysis, leadership and social influence, emotional intelligence. What I think all of us really need to pay attention to here is the fact that these are often what we call soft skills. But funny enough, these are the hard things, and these are the hard skills that people really struggle with in 2023. And we know as we move into the future, these are the skills we also have to pay more attention to, and we have to be able to figure out a way where we can truly improve these skills as well. Because what's happening in our near future is this idea of a human and machine partnership. We already work alongside machines in a number of different ways. Most of us are on our laptops on a daily basis, and we're going to see more and more of this down the road. So we know that it's critical to get comfortable with this idea of working alongside computers, machines, robots in the future. This is clearly the direction that things are going. There are plenty of examples of this out there in the wild. But probably there's no better example than Boston Dynamics with their robot Spot. Spot the robot dog, as it's often called, is a robot that is used in a number of different industries. We see it in manufacturing, in mining, in recent days, even in law enforcement. I'm sure we could do an entire broadcast where we just talk about the benefits as well as the fears when it comes to robots out there in the wild. But we can all agree that things are definitely moving in this direction, and there is no AI pause button when it comes to the future of these machines. Most recently, when we look at Boston Dynamics, they did a quick video that really demonstrates this idea of a human and machine partnership and how robots are going to be incorporated into the work that we do, if not in 2023, definitely in the years to come.
Forgot my tools again. Such a show off.
As I mentioned, there are plenty of examples of robots from Boston Dynamics that are being used across all types of industries, whether it's Spot the robot dog or this robot that we've seen in the past also doing parkour. So we know that things are moving in this direction. So what do we focus on when we want to be able to thrive in terms of skills in 2023? Well, it's important when we think about the future through the lens of automation and this human-machine partnership that we really focus on adding value beyond what can be done by automated systems and machines like we just saw. What value can you add as a human? Because there are always examples of skills that we need, again, back to those human skills that I talked about off the top of the presentation. How can you operate in a digital environment? What is your tech platform experience? This is something that we all have to focus on this year, something I've been doing over the past years, as I know many of you have as well. Tech platform experience is so essential. How comfortable are you using tools out there, whether it's ChatGPT or Slack or even some of the advanced apps that are available on Zoom? How are you able to incorporate these skills into everything that you do? And finally, how can you continuously adapt to new ways of working, whether it's remote work or any other type of work? We know we have to embrace this idea of flexibility, and I think all of us understand that it is all about relentless adaptation, all about experimentation as well when we talk about some of these tools in the future. Because at the end of the day, when we look to the future, we all have to be able to operate in a digital world. In this digital world, those people who will succeed are those people who understand how to build trust in this world, how to be relevant in this world. And there's also a conversation to be had around equity in terms of how remote work and digital tools makes things more equitable for all of us. Now, what happens when we don't use these tools effectively? What happens when there's a breakdown in trust? We see this on a regular basis, but there is no better example than the video that went viral during the pandemic of this one lawyer who didn't quite understand how to use the filters on his Zoom call.
Mr. Ponton, I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to take
we're
a
trying look. Can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
So a great example of what happens when there is a breakdown in terms of our understanding of how to incorporate technology into our work lives. And I think this is one subject that we don't pay enough attention to. The fact that if we want to build trust in a remote environment, all of those little tweaks that we make to the way that we operate, whether it's investing in high quality video conferencing technology or tools, or we just start to understand how to better use those platforms, this is all part of us out there in the world building trust and building our professional reputation. We all know how quickly that reputation can be hurt and how essential it is to keep it intact. When we think about the future and we think about tools as well, one of the things that we must all focus on is the reality that we're in 2023. Historically, of course, we have always had tools. We have always had technology that has impacted us over the past few decades. But what's different today in 2023 is the rapid pace of acceleration. There's probably no better example of this than ChatGPT, as you can see from this chart. When we look to understand how quickly different software services was able to attract about 1 million users, it took about 3.5 years for Netflix to reach that number. You can see the list going down. And then with ChatGPT, it took about 5 days to get to 1 million users. That's how quickly we are moving. To me, this feels like the conversation that not enough people are having right now is, yes, we know that digital transformation is essential, but what most of us struggle with is the ability to adapt quickly enough, the ability to stay up to date with the technology that's changing our lives. And I don't think this means that all of us have to be experts in terms of how to use everything, but we certainly want to have some level of range in terms of understanding how to use most of the tools that can affect our jobs in the future. So what I want to do towards the end of this presentation is just share 5 quick tools that offer up a great example of technologies that help us with this idea of a human and machine partnership, the idea that we are already using tools that are automating different parts of our jobs. One is automating transcripts. OTTER.AI is one of many tools that allow us to do this. This means all of a sudden in any video conference that we're having, we have the ability to get transcripts and real-time notes. Eventually, much of this software is able to even parse out who's speaking, assign a name to that speaker. Gone are the days where someone had to be that official note taker and take notes or minutes and share them with everyone. That's all done in real time. This can help us to be more productive and more effective with those virtual meetings. The next example of automation that can be incredibly helpful is when it comes to video editing, particularly for social media marketing, which is one of the top skills when it comes to digital skills that many people will need in the future. Now, what's interesting about this is social media, of course, has changed so much over the past couple of years. We've seen this movement towards really short, catchy videos and this pressure to put those videos out more quickly. And there are tools out there like WIBBITZ that allows you to do just that. What's amazing about this software is that in 7 minutes or less, you are able to easily put together a video. It essentially strings it together, makes it easy to get music, add other effects. And then all of a sudden you have a really great short social media video that you're able to put out there in the wild for a fraction of the cost, in comparison to what it would take years ago and potentially cost you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. The third example, and this is perhaps one of my favorites, is Grammarly. We all know Grammarly is that tool that will help us with our grammar, but they've also added in so many AI features. One is automating tone. So when you think about writing an email and you want to make sure that your email sounds perhaps more confident, this is a tool that will help you do just that, or tell you if maybe the language you're using is defensive. So it's a good example of helping for all of us to improve our communication skills. Grammarly has a bunch of new software and software that is leveraging artificial intelligence that's coming out in the next few weeks that's going to allow us even to write an email and then instantly press on buttons to say, hey, I want this email in a form that is encouraging, or maybe it's confident, or maybe I want this email to sound as though it's a little aggressive. Whatever you want, you can click a button and all of a sudden your email will be rewritten. A good example, again, of how some of these tools are able to help us and tweak when we are communicating out there in the business world. The next one is CANVA. I know for many of you on LinkedIn, you all know about CANVA. It's a robust suite of tools that can help us creating images and videos. Just a really quick example, because I think we underestimate what an impact these type of tools can have on our work. If you're on LinkedIn, you're doing a headshot and you want to quickly remove your background, well, all of a sudden you can do that in CANVA in mere seconds. Now, I'm old enough to remember the days of Photoshop when it cost thousands and thousands of dollars to remove a background from a headshot like this. And when you did so, you ended up getting those jagged edges. It was very difficult to do this in a professional way. Well, in a couple seconds, you can do this on CANVA, and I'm just kind of scraping the surface in terms of the AI tools they have available. The last one is probably the biggest. And this is all about automating your writing. Maybe a better title for this, and Chris and I were chatting about this before, is automating ideas. How can tools like ChatGPT and other software that's built upon that, how can that help us with improving our writing and making it better and generating new ideas? There's no doubt there's a role for this in the future.
Say hey to Jasper. Artificial intelligence makes it fast and easy to write content for your blog, social media, website copy, and more. Writer's block have you stuck? Not anymore. Now you can scale up content 5 times faster using AI. So how does Jasper work? Get started at JASPER.AI. Once you're in, choose from over 50 different writing skills Jasper already knows. Simply tell the AI what you want to write about and then press generate. Instantly before your eyes, watch Jasper write content for you. And since Jasper has read 10% of the internet, it knows all about your niche and is trained by expert marketers to write emotional, persuasive copy. Do you want to write high-quality blog content fast? Then activate Boss Mode. This lets you command your AI assistant directly in documents like, hey Jasper, write a paragraph about aliens in the tone of voice of Joe Rogan. Dang, look at that. Now you just got to make your edits, rephrase, and then generate your next paragraph. It's that fast and easy. Jasper writes original content that's plagiarism-free, optimized for SEO, and drives sales. That's why Jasper is rated 5 stars and over 3,000 reviews.
So when we look at a tool like Jasper, I did sign up last year. It's a little bit expensive and there are lots of competitors in this space. But what it enables us to do is to quickly write that blog post content or that report content, gives us those new ideas. And it's fun just to use some of these tools, even if you try out the trial on Jasper, to get a sense of how quickly it's able to create that copy or content. So most recently what I did, I'm doing a keynote next week, and I wanted to show the attendees how fast Jasper is able to work. So I asked Jasper to write up a synopsis, a blog post of the event. Of course, this event has not even happened yet, but you can see here that Jasper was able to search online and pull information from the website and other information that it found to write essentially a blog post about an event that hasn't even happened. We can have lots of conversations about what this means in terms of the future of content online. But I think it demonstrates very quickly how many of us are going to have to work alongside these tools, understand how to leverage them, and again, forge that human and machine partnership that it's something I'm talking a lot about in 2023 and beyond. And really at the end of the day, if I can give you any advice to really understand how to survive this age of rapid acceleration, it is to follow the advice of the late futurist Alvin Toffler, who said, "The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn." This is the world that we live in today. All of us have to embrace this idea of learning, unlearning, and relearning. Because while I might be presenting to you right now in April of 2023, I could probably come back and do this exact same presentation in a couple of months, but I would have to change many of the tools and technologies out there because that's how rapidly things are moving forward. So if you have that love of learning and unlearning and relearning, you are one step ahead of the rest of us. And what's amazing when we think about the future that we are going into, all of us at the end of the day have to be able to future-proof our skills. You know, I work in an industry where automation, of course, has already affected us in a number of different ways. But how are you able to really enhance your skill set and offer something more? How can you future-proof your skills in an environment where automation exists and AI is having such an impact on our world and on our work? A great read on this front is called Future Proof: 9 Rules for Humans in the Age of Automation by Kevin Roos. Really great understanding of how to wrap your head around this age of automation. And most importantly, as I started with during this presentation, how to embrace this idea of digital discipline and learn and use new tools. Even if once a week you try a new tool and just go and check out the trial for 15 minutes, it will give you a sense of where things are heading, and that's so incredibly important. Again, it's not about mastering everything, but having a broad understanding of what does exist and what's going to change the future of work. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you tuning in. We plan to do more of these live broadcasts. If you have any topics you want us to discuss, please do send me a message and let us know. Again, this just was a short preview of one small part of my keynote presentation that I'll be delivering on stages and virtually over 2023. If you want to hear more, send me a message. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, and we'll talk to you soon.